ICSD TV presents the people who work in the Ithaca City School District. This week, Board of Education Vice President Seth Peacock interviews the transportation staff at the ICSD Transportation Center.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Seth Peacock. I'm Vice President of the Board of Education. I'm here at about 5:30 in the morning to come out and see our team of excellent folks down at the Transportation Department. We have a ton of people here who start the day getting ready to get your kids to school, and I thought it'd be a great idea if we came out early in the morning and met some of them. So let's take a walk inside and see who's in there. Hi, I'm here in the dispatch office at District Transportation, and what's your name, and tell us what you do here.
My name is Jeff Dubert. I'm the dispatcher. I get the buses on the road in the morning and in the afternoon, pick up the kids, get them to school.
And Jeff, how long have you been working for the district?
I've been here in this position for 2 years. Prior to that, I was a driver starting in 2002.
So on a typical day, tell us kind of what you do.
All right, come in the morning, I go through the list, get routes assigned to drivers that may be out on sick leave or off for whatever reason. Get those routes assigned, get the buses assigned to those routes. Then I work with the mechanics, any mechanical problems we have with buses that aren't in service, make replacements for those. And then I also get the trips for the day, any field trips that may be going on with the schools. Get drivers and buses assigned for those trips also.
Any exciting trips today?
Today is a big day for us. We've got over 28 trips going out for schools today. The biggest thing is the concert at the high school. The orchestra is playing for the second graders, so we're transporting second graders from every school in the district down to the high school this morning.
Wow. Now, tell me, how many drivers do we have here?
We have 86 drivers, and then we also have 15 aides or riders that assist drivers on special need routes.
And what else besides the typical trips that they have every day to getting the kids to school? What other kind of trips do the drivers work during the day?
Yeah, we have drivers that would take the students to different off-site locations, such as the 8 Square Schoolhouse, Johnson Art Museum, different locations at Cornell. Actually, some locations as far as way as Genesee, New York, for field trips.
Now, Jeff, this is the important question. Who makes the ultimate call on a snow day?
Actually, it's Dr. Brown who makes the ultimate call. There's a couple people that will get together information for him and then make a call to him, including the County Highway Department, State Police, my boss, Jim Ellis himself. We have the 2 mechanics that come in early that will go out and do road evaluations. All that data goes to Dr. Brown, and he makes the final call.
I got you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here with some of our fine mechanics, and I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell you how long they've been here and typically what they do. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. My name's Ray Hubbard. I've been here since 1988.
Great, Ray. And what do you do here?
Mechanic.
And what's that involved?
Working on the buses, the maintenance vehicles. I'm getting things ready for the morning routes.
Great, Ray. And what's your name?
Seth Rumsey.
All right, Seth. And how long have you been with the district?
Since 07.
Great. And what do you do here?
Pretty much the same as Ray. We come in at 3:30 in the morning and get all the stuff around that drivers might have found at night and get them ready to roll out in the morning.
Now, as you can see, the bus is lifted at this point, and it allows for Ray and Seth to get under there and reach any component they need to. We have these new heaters that allow for less idling, saves the district fuel, and changing tires or anything else these guys need to work on. Easily accessible at this point. Alicia, tell us what you do for the district.
I drive school bus for the district.
And how long have you been working for the district?
12 years.
Now, what's your route? What bus route do you run?
This year, I do Route 16, which is a George Jr. run.
And do you do anything else? Do you do a high school run or anything like that?
I do not do the high school. I do pre-K, and we do trips.
And have you always done the George Jr. route, or?
No, usually I have done 59, which is out of Bell Sherman. This year, I wanted a challenge, so I took a special run, and I've made a difference with the boys.
How many kids you get into school every day?
We started with 7. We are down to between 2 and 3, but they're special needs. They require a little more attention, and it feels good to make a difference.
Now, on your route, do you have an aide working with you as well?
I do. Her name is Vivian.
And you guys work as a team to get the kids safely to school?
Absolutely, every single day.
Great. Well, thanks for talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Seth.
Let's meet another fine person from transportation. Tell us your name, please.
I'm Debbie Herman.
Debbie, how long have you been working here?
Working on 20 years now.
Now, Debbie, we're in the dispatch office, and what do you do in this office? What's your role?
I'm the senior standby driver, and I come early in the morning. I help Jeff out, the dispatcher, and answering the phone, helping some of the standby drivers with the routes that they have to go out on, do a little bit of paperwork filing.
Now, Debbie, tell us what that means, standby driver. What does that involve? I see you're here early, one of the first drivers to arrive. What's a typical day for you?
Well, doing that, and then when people call in sick, we have drivers that go out and drive their routes, and we come in, we get their route books, and we go do the routes for the sick drivers, or somebody that has an appointment, or somebody was late. Just cover the routes.
So that means you don't have a set route every day. How do you know the different routes? I mean, you've been here long enough that you know everything? How do you know, just get out there and start driving? What happens?
Well, the route books have the routes in them, and it has directions as where to go, where to start, and what time to leave the garage and everything. And I've been doing it for quite a few years, so I know most of them, even though they change. So that's sometimes not right.
So in addition to knowing the routes, do you also have to know the kids on the route and different houses and pickup points and
yeah,
where kids go?
That's designated on the route sheets. It'll say the student's name. I mean, it's hard to know all the routes and all the students like a regular driver would, but the standby drivers we have do a really good job of it.
Good morning, big guy. May I have my key? Good morning, Rachel.
Have a good one.
We have one of our fine drivers here, and I just wanted to let him introduce himself. Can you tell us your name, please?
My name is Michael Friedman.
Well, Michael, how long have you been working for the district?
About 4 years.
Now, Michael, in these 4 years, what time does your day typically start?
Well, I get up at like 4:30. I get here at 6, and then pick up a route and get going.
Now, Michael, are you on a set route, or do you float, or what's your typical route?
I'm called a standby, so each day I'm handed a route that a driver is out sick or they're not here, so I do whatever I'm given.
Now, Mike, why do you do standby as opposed to have a set route?
Well, standbys tend to make more hours because we come in at 6 and we fill in routes that have different bid times, which is the length of the route.
Now, Mike, when you do standby, that means you're basically getting a new route every day. How do you adjust to new kids, new location, things like that?
It's difficult at times. We don't really get to know the kids all that well. Sometimes when there's a substitute, kids act worse. Sometimes they act better. It's hard to say. The routes, I mean, I've been doing this for a while, so I'm somewhat familiar with most of the routes. But I still don't know which kids are on the bus and who gets off when, so it's a challenge.
Now, when you're out on the route, do you usually have an aide working with you on the bus?
No, we don't. And that's something from the very beginning that I wished that we had. If there was the funding for it, there should be an aide on every route.
And that would make your job a little bit easier?
It would make it easier and overall safer.
Great. And could you tell us what happens? You come in here in the morning, get your route, and then what do you have to do?
Fill out some paperwork, review the route, see where I'm going, and then gauge how much time I have to leave to start the route, and then we have to go out to the bus and do a thorough checkout.
And how long does this thorough checkout or inspection usually last?
We have up to 15 minutes, and it takes about that long.
And what kind of things are you checking for when you do your inspection?
That the bus is in good shape, all the lights are working, there's no fluids leaking, the tires are okay, there's fuel in the bus. We just basically look through inside and out.
Bob, let me ask you, before you start your inspection, how long have you been working for the district?
3.5 years now.
And what's your route?
Route 67.
And tell us about Route 67.
Oh, like where it goes. Well, it covers, in the morning, it covers Peacock Heights Elementary and the high school, 2 different runs. Afternoon, South Hill. After you take those kids home, again, the high school, take the high school kids home.
Now, tell us what you were doing before you were driving.
Quite a bit of things. I'm 62, so I've had a varied career, but this is very satisfying because what you do is obviously important. The first thing I'm going to do is go outside and check that the red lights, which means for traffic to stop, that they're working. All the other lights that I'm turning on are working, and the bus looks good in general.
Now we see there's a radio there. What's that used for?
That's a two-way radio, which puts me in touch with the garage. And there's a lot of communication that I will hear over the course of a bus trip. And sometimes if they have a question for me or some information about a student, they just get it to me quickly, instantaneously.
Now I see there's a fan here. Is this bus air conditioned?
No, it's not.
Is that your air conditioner?
Essentially, besides the cooling thing, it's also important in the wintertime when you got to really, or any day that you have a whole lot of humidity, because with all the students on the bus, especially big kids, high school kids, there's a lot of inside fogging of the windows that can happen. So this would be, in addition to the defroster, this would be a help in, keeping the windows clear. At least the things I care about in terms of driving.
Great. Now, I believe these buses have air brakes. Can you tell us about that?
Well, as you heard yourself when I first started the bus, the buses are pumped down every night. That's a safety feature too. It means that they can't be stolen or moved really. The brakes are pumped down, and then
tell us what you mean pumped down.
You literally pump the brake down, and that bleeds all the air out of the braking system. So when it's completely bled dry of air, you just cannot move a bus. It's virtually frozen up. So it can't be stolen, can't be taken by anybody but a driver who's got a key. Because when you turn it back on, then the system, the air generator starts generating the air, and the brakes come back up online. And if they were ever to fail, you have something like, it's called, what is this called, wigwag, that was down when we first got on the bus. And it'll drop automatically so that you're really hip to the fact that your brakes might be failing. Of course, there's gauges too, and there's a feeling too in the brakes that you would know that. But there's fail-safe systems, I guess, in case of catastrophic failure.
Can you just tell me your name?
Phyllis Toddy.
Leroy Barrett.
And Phyllis, how long have you been working for the district?
Over 20 years.
And Leroy?
About 24 years.
All right, and what do you do, Phyllis?
I drive school bus and train drivers and keep track of the 19A file requirements.
And what's 19A file requirements?
That's what the state mandates are for staying qualified to drive school bus.
And Leroy?
I'm one of the bus monitors here, and I help assist with our special needs children, and I also help train our drivers as to proper securement for traveling with handicapped children.
Good. So that's what I was hoping you guys be able to show me. Can you show me how this whole thing works here, and we can actually see the whole process?
I have the red lights activated to stop all traffic, and Leroy is inside to receive the child, and I'm getting ready to pick the child up. Be a wheelchair student waiting at a stop, and we're going to lower the wheelchair lift.
You want to use this wheelchair, Seth?
Do you want a chair out here?
Yeah.
All right. So anytime the chair is on the lift, the brakes are secured, and you keep a hand on the chair. And this is probably the oldest chair in existence at this time.
Now I noticed the chair is has the back against the school bus. Is that the way you're supposed to do it?
The farther back on the lift that you can put the chair, the safer it is. And this also has to be attached or the lift will stop. So if we were in fact picking this chair up with a student in it, all right, I would be out here loading the chair on with the student in. And like I say, the farther back, the safer. And then you lock the brakes on the chair and fasten the seat belt, holding onto the chair, making sure everything is clear if parents or siblings are near. And Leroy's waiting up top. He will take the chair in once we get it up there.
So the chair has been lifted all the way up. Now I'm receiving the chair from Phyllis that has lifted it up from outside. I back the student in. I'm bringing her in to an area that has been prepared to receive the wheelchair. I bring the wheelchair inside the hooks. First thing I do is set the brake. After the brake has been set, now I hook up. We have 4 hooks that have been placed on the floor, and now we hook the hooks to the wheelchair to secure the wheelchair. There's 2 in the rear. We have 2 in the front.
Now, Leroy, I noticed you secured the chair. How do you secure the student?
Once I get the chair secured with the 4 hooks and they're properly placed, then I use the strap we have hanging here to go around the student.
Will that go like this?
That's right.
Can you show us that?
Okay. Actually, this area. Chair will come around.
So Leroy, it's like the typical lap belt you see on an automobile.
Automobile, that's right. It has a shoulder strap and a waist strap.
Now I'm here with one of our head mechanics. Can you tell us your name?
Bob McHumber.
Now Bob, how long have you been with the district?
30 years.
Wow, that's impressive. And you've been a mechanic that whole time?
Yes, I have.
Great, right here at the bus depot?
Yes, I have.
Great, so we're here and I see we have about 4 bays. Can you tell us what kind of things you do, you know, to maintain the district vehicles here?
Well, we have to service them. They have a 4,000 mile service, so we bring every bus in at 4,000 miles or before and service them, do a grease job, check the brakes, check all the seats, make sure everything is up according to DOT, and then DOT comes in every 6 months and inspects every bus, each bus.
I see there's a lot of lifts here. Can you tell us about this lift here?
This lift here is a drive-on lift. We can spread it apart so we can put a school bus onto it, or we can put it together so we can put lawnmowers onto it, dump trucks, any size vehicle.
Now, what do you got in here, Bob?
These are all the sockets. This is a socket draw, crow feet, so on and so forth, the different sizes of everything.
And we have more tools down here?
Yeah, this is all different bars, different things we would use. Each tool, you know, each job has its own tool. These are American wrenches. Next drawdown is metric wrenches.
Great. Now I see everything's organized pretty carefully here. Why is that?
Why is it what?
Why is it organized this way?
Because my dad taught me that way. Every time you get done with a job, you put the tools away, you clean them first. You never ever put a tool away dirty. That's the way my dad taught me, and that's the way I've always done it.
Now, Bob, can you give us a sense of the average life of a bus? How long do these school buses last?
10 years is what DOT would like to have them at because they get rusty. And once they get rusty underneath, then they can start costing a lot of money to keep them up. So it's actually cheaper at 10 years to to stay on a 10-year replacement program is better.
We started a new program, installed this new device on buses. Can you tell us about it?
This is a heater so that most school buses during the cold winter months are plugged into electricity to keep them warm in an engine heater. These heaters, we just got 30 of these installed that are to come on about an hour and a half before the bus goes out en route, and this will maintain, it'll heat and maintain the coolant system.
Now, Bob, what's different about this heating system as opposed to the plug-in?
The plug-in is just to warm the front of the engine, just to keep it so it'll start. This here will actually heat the coolant through the entire bus. So when the driver starts the bus, they'll be able to turn the heater switches on immediately, and they'll already have heat of 140 degrees.
Can you tell us your name, please?
Scott Rouleau.
And Scott, what do you do here?
I work on small engines and school buses.
How long have you been with the district?
25 years.
Oh, okay, so it looks like we're sitting in front of a Smithco machine. What does this thing do?
It's a ground groomer. It grooms the infield for baseball.
When you say ground groomer, what do you mean?
Well, it drags a drag, and it has forks that go in and dig into the ground, and what it does is kind of aerates the fields for the baseball players.
What other kind of equipment do we have here with small engines?
We got all kinds of mowers, weed eaters, blowers, big mowers. Anything with an engine, I work on it.
And all that stuff you're responsible for, and you're
pretty
the
much.
go-to man.
Yep.
Morning. Could you tell us your name, please?
My name is Tina Gach Lindblad.
Now, Tina, are you the voice that parents hear when they call about their kids being left at the bus stop or missing the bus or something like that?
Yes, I answer the phone and dispatch on the two-way radio.
Now, Tina, how long have you been working for the district?
28 years, 29 years in July.
And has that all been with transportation?
No. I started off at the high school as a classroom aide, and I worked at the administration building, and then I came here in '89.
Can you kind of describe some of the things you have in place to make sure kids are given to the right people and don't get lost?
I can give you an example of what happened, say Monday. We had a kindergarten student from one of our elementary schools. The driver went to let the child off at the stop. There was someone there that she did not recognize. The child said they did not recognize the person. The mother was not at the stop, who normally gets a child off at the stop every day. Radioed into base. I took the call. Very suspicious the driver was, so I told the driver, do not let the child off. She closed the door and went down. I went in our system that we use, Versatrans. We have a listing of names that, there's like 3 names in there sometimes that are people that are allowed to get the child off the bus. So I called the mom. We have 2 systems that we can toggle back and forth with on the cell phone. And mom was just down the street, and she says, well, my nephew was there to get her off the bus. And I explained to the parent, well, we don't know who your nephew is. The bus driver doesn't know who your nephew is. So she says, well, I'm going to go back down to the stop right now. And then, so the bus driver took some more kids home and then returned her to the stop. So we have the parents fill out some forms with names on there of people that can get the kids off the bus, and then when the driver comes there, they need to show identification that they can get them off the bus. If there's any type of suspicious vehicle or something following the bus, we tell the drivers, pull over, let the cars by. If that car doesn't go by, I guess if it was like at a stop and kept going behind them, we wouldn't tell them not to let the child off the bus.
Okay.
There's certain custody issues that are flagged per child, and if the driver doesn't recognize the person at the stop, we would not let that child off the bus.
Now, you mentioned this program, the software called Versatrans.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you use regularly?
The school district uses something called School Tools.
Mm-hmm.
We have a system called Versatrans. We use Versatrans every day for our routing systems for the school buses and all of the kids in the district, except the walkers. We toggle back and forth between both systems.
I'm here in the office, and tell us your name.
Rob Boynton.
And Rob, how long have you been working for the district?
21 years.
And what do you do here, Rob?
I am the route coordinator.
What does that mean?
I put kids in the computer and on the routes, and I print the routes for the drivers and make sure things run smoothly.
Now, when you said the computer, you use this program Versatrans at all?
Yes, Versatrans.
And what exactly do you do with that, and what is that program?
It's our routing program where we put your kids in with their address, and then you put them, either the computer puts them, the program itself puts them at a stop, or I have to manually put them at a stop.
Now, sometimes the program recommends a certain stop, and it actually doesn't make sense. Are you the one who makes those type of adjustments?
Yes.
And how do you make those adjustments? What do you use to decide?
Usually past practice as far as where the stops have been in the past, and where anything safety issues come up where it might not be a safe stop, we won't put it there. We'll move it to where it is safe.
Now, I know you come in early every morning with a cup of coffee, ready to go. What do you do when you're not working?
I'm involved in a family racing.
And what type of racing is that?
It's dirt street stock car racing.
Are you a driver for that?
No, I'm an owner and mechanic.
Well, great. Well, good luck, and thanks for talking to us for a few minutes.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Tell us what you do here.
I'm the transportation supervisor for the Ithaca School District.
And what's your name?
Jim Ellis.
Well, Jim, we're out here at your station, and we got some smaller buses behind you. Can you tell us about these buses?
Yep, our small buses we use primarily for students with disabilities, of which we transport many kids with special needs in the Ithaca School District. The small buses allow us to provide door-to-door service more easily than a big bus. We can get into small streets or even driveways, so they're very useful for the district to have those.
Now, Jim, how many of the larger buses do we have?
We have 81 of the large buses, yes, right.
And the
I think there's
ones?
9 right now of the small buses that we have in service, yes, yep.
Okay, and how many drivers do we have total?
We have, we have 67 routes that go out every morning. We also have 12 standby drivers. And we have mechanics that are also certified as drivers. So I think on our state roster right now, it's 84 drivers that we have on the state school bus driver roster. We also have 17 bus attendants, a couple of that are in training. Yes. Yep.
Now, what's the daily mileage that is average for the district to travel when transporting our students around?
Yeah, I mean, this district goes over 1 million miles a year in the Ithaca School District, about 4,000 or 5,000 miles a day on the average. Most runs are, over the course of the morning and afternoon run are going to be between 60 and 100 miles that we're on the road. It's an enormous operation, really, every day. It's very impressive. A lot of exposure to the, traffic dangers and people driving without such a regard for safety that, unfortunately, the public sometimes shows. Yeah, we're out there. We're on every street and cul-de-sac and road in the Ithaca School District. It's pretty neat.
Can you tell us about some of your drivers here and the people working for the district driving these buses?
I'm just thrilled to tell you about the drivers and attendants here. I've worked in many school districts over the years. I've been doing this for a long time, and this is the most dedicated, experienced group of people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Many of our drivers and attendants here have been here for decades. I counted of our 111 staff that are in the transportation department in one capacity or another, we have about 1,300 years of experience there. So, I mean, well over 10 years average. And like I say, some people 20, 25, even 30 years. And that's a kind of a knowledge base of the district, of the roads, the kids, the schools, our procedures, parents, that's just precious to me. And, so when some strange thing happens on the road, we have a road blocked, or we have a child that needs special attention or something like that. We have so much intelligence here, and you'll hear drivers when there's an issue trying to help out, offering over the radio, well, maybe I can pick that child up. So they're just a very dedicated and intelligent group of people. I'm very, very proud of them. I've learned so much just being here, like you say, going on 2 years now, just learning from them. And they care so much about kids. And that's why we're here. We're here for kids. And I mean, these people, they sincerely care about kids. They understand that kids are kids, They're not going to be robots on a bus. They're not going to be perfect. You know, we were all there once. And these are people who love kids and really care about their safety. So I'm very proud to be here.